Hey everyone, another video from Miss Ford. I wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you a little bit about a way that you can take notes as you go through your lessons, or anything really. I mean, it really can help you anytime you're reading. There's a few certain things that you really want to make sure that you're identifying, that you're finding, and that you're including in your notes. Guys, it's very important for you to take notes as you read or as you go through lessons, because really that's going to, first of all, help you to recall information later. So if you are keeping track of what you're going over in your classes, that's going to help you as you study. That's going to help you because you're not just hearing it and seeing it, but you're also writing it. So that's going to help to build your memory recall of that information, but it's also going to help, again, for when you're studying. When you are studying, you're going to be able to see the information. You're going to be able to look back at your notes and go, oh, yeah, and it might trigger a memory of something that your teacher said. Or, as you guys tell me all the time, I have wacky ways of explaining things. And if you look in your notes, it might trigger one of those wacky things that I've said or done in class and help you just to kind of have that much better of a memory of what's happening. This is one that we've talked about in our lessons. It's set up a little bit differently, though. It starts off with the idea of notice. We want to take a look in our lessons and we want to notice. This is for fiction, guys. It changes a little bit for nonfiction, but this is for fiction. And we want to start off by noticing. I'm going to write fiction at the top. Sorry, guys. Notice who the characters are. We've been talking about this in class as it relates to our own writing, but who are the characters? How do I get to know these characters? What is said about these characters? Think too about where and when the story takes place. Remember, we call that the setting. So where and when is this story taking place? And what's the conflict or the problem in this story? The reason, guys, that these questions are so important is because these are really going to help you to be able to understand the rest of the story. Okay, if you are looking at a story and you're thinking of the wrong setting, you're picturing the wrong setting in your mind, it can really change how you're understanding that. If you're not sure what the problem is, then you're not going to be sure when the problem is solved or when we have the turning point in the story. Another thing you might want to add in here is the point of view. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, that's who or what is telling us the story. That might be something else to put in here. So anything that you notice, any of those story details, are really what we're going to put in our notice part. Then we go over to identify. Guys, when I'm reading, it can be really hard for me to read and just be able to recall all of the information and understand everything that's being asked of me in one time. Something you can do, and you can do this with the identify part, is pre-reading and just skim down through, kind of scan the page to see if there are any vocabulary words that are in there, and then to see if there are any new words for you. That'll really help to improve your fluency with your reading as you go through and your understanding of what the text is. Guys, it's very important for us to not only look at the vocabulary words that our teachers are giving us, but to also expand our vocabulary by identifying words that are new to us. Okay, we want to continue to grow and grow and grow, and we're going to continue to do that by learning new words and understanding them as we go through. If you need help with vocabulary, make sure you check out the Terminology Tuesday videos. They will help there. It's a good thing to always put your working definition in the identify part. That way, you're better able to connect that word to other things that you may know or that you may be able to use it to recall later on. Connect. We always want to connect with our passage in some way. It doesn't matter if you're reading Romeo and Juliet and you say, I could never connect to this because Romeo and Juliet are cray-cray and I've got no idea what they were thinking. Well, but you can still connect to it in some way because you understood what was going on in the story. Your connection is just that you don't connect with how they feel. That's still somewhat of a connection because you're still comparing it to your everyday life. So how does this text relate to me or my life? How does this something that can stand out to me? How is it something that I can think of or see in my daily life? And then how does it relate to the theme of the unit? Every unit has a theme. There's a reason that we're reading everything we are. For those of us at CCA, we have what's called an essential question as we go through every unit. How does the passage relate to that essential question? If you are looking at it for a different course and you're not in your ELA course, but you're at CCA, you might say, how does the reading assignment that I just did for social studies relate to whatever part of history we're talking about? The more you can make those connections, the better you're going to be able to recall the information and truly understand what's happening in the story. Last is going to be to respond. How would you summarize what you've read? Guys, don't forget there's a video for that. There's a summary video. Shameless plug. Okay, go check out the summary video if you're not sure what summarizing is. But you want to summarize what's going on. That should only be a couple sentences. And then write down the most important part to remember. Why is this so important for you to remember? What did you take away from it? What did you learn from it? That's, again, guys, going to help you to recall information, but it's also going to help you as you go through and just try to connect the readings that you're doing. And especially if you're going to have to use these readings later to support an answer that you're giving. You really want to make sure that you have that information. Your notes, though, don't have to look like this. This is just an example of note-taking that might be a good way for you to do it. You may also want to make this, take a piece of paper, fold it into 4s, and then take your notes that way. That's another way that you can do it. If you are in my class for English, I also give you notes and ways to keep track of these same or similar ideas as you go through each lesson. The important thing, guys, is for you to find a way that works best for you. The more you're able to find a way of taking notes that's best for you, and that's successful for you, the more you're going to be able to keep track of the notes, you're going to be willing to take those notes, and you're going to have the support you need to continue to make progress. If you need any other note-taking tips, reach out and let me know. If not, happy learning.